Welcome back, everyone. This is Tika the Cosmic Witch here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is going to be your weekly download video for this week. We are finally out of the mirrored portal that closed on the winter solstice. So I'm back to filming. I did not really want to have my face really out there at that time because it was a lot of interesting energy and just Spirit was telling me to not really film. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just write instead. But we are back to our regular filming schedule right now. So this is going to be a very, not quick video, but I don't really have a whole lot to say for the week per se in terms of the chart, because as you guys know, we do have a solar eclipse in Capricorn coming up very soon. So once you have watched this video, please stay tuned because there will be an additional video coming out later on today about the solar eclipse, which is going to have a lot of details about the transits and what we can expect with that as well. So this will be mostly a heavily card reading video per se. And yeah, so we're gonna go right into it. As of right now, it is December 23rd, so we are 3 days away from the new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn. So as of right now, the moon is actually currently sitting in Sagittarius at 0 degrees. We have some really interesting aspects right now with Uranus and Mercury and and Saturn. So there's a lot of squares happening right now with Mercury to Neptune. Venus is still squared to Uranus, which is going to be there for quite some time. So there's going to be a lot of agitation to do with our relationships and us really trying to change the way we are, practicing the law of attraction and what that really looks like in our life. So you can expect yourselves to really still looking for a lot of space from your partners, your friends, your family, what have you. It is the holiday season, yes, but you might not really be in the mood per se to, engage a whole lot in conversation or in, dinners and what have you, and that's totally okay. Take the space that you need. Now, a couple things I do want to mention about the astro shifts is that we do have Venus in Aquarius. I did go into details about what that aspect is like and what this transit will look like for us. So definitely go ahead on the Cosmic Witch Instagram page to read all about that transit for you. Now, if you want to know what that transit really means for you personally and how it will affect your own personal cycle of your own birth chart, definitely book a transit reading with me so that we can go ahead and look deeper into what your Venus transit looks like and what it's going to look like for you at this point in time. Now, we have some really interesting trines with Jupiter to Uranus though, and Mars is also trine to Neptune, and Chiron. Chiron's actually doing a lot this week. There's a lot of squares and trines to Chiron, so we're really supposed to be focusing on our healing. And honestly, I take this as, being really open to receiving any last minute messages from the ancestors, from your guides, from Spirit, the universe, because this is the last stretch of the decade of the year, and so any final test that you thought you were done with is going to show up right now. And I will explain more of that as we go into eclipse season. Well, technically we're in eclipse season right now. As of the last quarter, we are in eclipse season, and the idea of endings and beginnings and cycles and changes is very present right now, and we're going to see a lot of tests being come up. Of course, this has to do with your family, your loved ones, the ones that you are surrounded by the most right now, as it is the holiday season, but also just outside of that, who are you outside of that? How do you maintain yourself? How do you maintain your higher self? How do you maintain your 5D connection while being stuck in such low vibrating spaces that you might be in? Now, speaking of spaces, not per se low vibrating, but as you can see, I am not in my regular space. So yes, I am home for the holidays in Toronto. So yes, I have this lovely balsam fir tree beside me. I would have filmed the opposite way so you guys could see it, but I chose to keep the lighting instead. So you're only gonna get half the tree right now, so too bad. But yeah, so there's a lot of trines and squares with Chiron. Chiron is trine to the moon right now and Mars, and it is square to the sun and Mercury. Now, as a reminder, and Jupiter. So as a reminder, the sun obviously is in Sagittarius, is now in Capricorn. So any Capricorns watching, happy solar return, Capricorns. Thank you so much for coming to the party. We hope that you guys can treat us a little nicely and gentle during your solar return. It is always a tough time, I find, for myself personally. Capricorn energy is really, really tough and harsh. So it's going to be very interesting, but happy solar return to you guys nonetheless. So with it being square though to the sun in Capricorn and to Mercury, which is still in Sagittarius, and Jupiter, which is sitting in Capricorn now, there's a lot of conflict with us to do with our communication, and our deep healing is being magnified in such a big way right now that we're trying to like not even approach it, and we're trying to avoid any conflict, any confrontation, which is actually causing more conflict and more friction. So we really, really, really should not be doing that. Now, it is also trying to the moon and Mars, because those are both in fire signs right now. And Chiron is sitting in Aries, which has to rule with the head. So with that being said, how are you healing your deep internal wounds, you know, the wounds connected to your mother, the divine feminine in your life? How are you becoming in tune to your divine feminine right now? How are you speaking that into existence right now? How are you communicating that right now? Are you doing it in a way that is speaking from passion and from your heart, truly your heart? Or are you just, you know, spitting out venom and being defensive and, you know, not really taking the time to do the work that you need to do? And any triggers or things that are coming up this week, yes, they're going to be hard, and yes, you might want to pop off, but remember all the work that you did throughout this year, okay? Remember all the work that you've done throughout the decade. Don't throw it all out the window right now, okay? So that's really all I'm going to say right now about the planets and the aspects in the cosmos. I will be going deeper into detail about the shifts that are happening right now in my next video about the solar eclipse in Capricorn. Now, I also, during the winter solstice, I actually pulled all the charts of 2020. You guys, it's going to be a very intense year, at least for the first like 3 months. Once the full moon in Virgo comes up though, it will, you know, change a little bit, and I'll go into details about that later, but it's gonna be intense. So we're gonna get through it. I did pull some cards before filming because I wanted to make sure that you guys got a really nice, deep, thorough message that really spoke to you. And the cosmos are really reflecting what I pulled today in the cards. So today I'm using the Egyptian tarot, and so I'm going to show you guys what those cards look like right now. So first I pulled the Knight of Swords. Now we also have the reverse Emperor here, the Queen of Wands here, the Wheel of Fortune is also here, of course, and the Five of Swords is here. Now I also pulled some oracle, but I'll show you those later. So first and foremost, there's a lot of swords and fire energy going on. So we've got the Knight of Swords, the Five of Swords, and we have the Queen of Wands, and then we have the Emperor that is reversed. So there's clearly a lot of I want to say aggression being used in terms of how we're communicating ourselves to our loved ones and to people and in our surroundings. There's a sense of we are being so technical and so, you know, intellectual. We're not thinking with our heart at all or with our intuition. We are really in this divine masculine phase right now, and the energy is heavily influenced by divine masculine, which makes sense because, again, the sun just went to Capricorn, which is the most patriarchic, most, you know, top-down oppressive energy there can be of the signs. So yes, it makes sense. As we already know, Saturn rules the divine masculine energy of the father, creator, you know, figure. So that makes a lot of sense. But when he shows up, you know, normally this is about quick, fast action that's being approaching, and there could be potentially some quick, fast action approaching you. But when I see it being surrounded by the reversed Emperor card and the Queen of Wands and the Five of Swords, there's a sense of, you know, self-destruction and self-sabotage, and you, or the collective, the Cosmic Coven as a collective, running into things so damn quickly that you're seeing red like an Aries would, and you're just charging for something. You're not even thinking with your brain. Although we have a lot of swords coming up, we're not really thinking with our brain at all. And it's causing some, you know, a mess for yourself. And I'm seeing a lot of karmic patterns too, because the Wheel of Fortune is also here. Yes, the wheel is always representing to us something that is temporary, something that is, you know, forever changing. But what is that wheel that is spinning right now? Why is it constantly changing and repeating the same pattern? Why is that pattern keep repeating itself? What is it that you are communicating right now this week, or, you know, non-intentionally communicating right now through the law of attraction that's constantly changing for you? And I say that because, as I was mentioning before, Venus is square to Uranus. Venus just went into Aquarius, which is naturally ruled by Uranus. So, of course, there's this need for constant change to attract what we want into our lives. But if we are constantly attracting karmic energy that's constantly changing, it's not going to serve us or your higher self. Now, the Emperor obviously wants us to be, you know, very stable and grounded and very sure of ourselves, but we are seeing it reverse this week, which means a lot of us are really unsure of what we're doing, or we're being very, you know, pushy, very aggressive, and, you know, things aren't working. And now that the year is almost over, I'm seeing that a lot of you are looking at your to-do list, looking at, you know, your short-term goals, your long-term goals, and realizing that tick tock, time is ticking away, and you haven't checked off all the things off your list. And so now, with this last stretch of the decade, you're really forcing things to try to budge things, and it's not working out at all, okay? So whatever pushing that you're doing with any situation right now, stop, drop the sword. It's okay, drop the sword and let it just flow, because all this pushing and aggression that you're using right now, it's not serving you the way that you want it to. It's really not. So you should probably just stop, okay? What you're actually doing is continuing to create this domino effect of karma that is going to keep coming to you and biting you in the ass because you don't listen. You have to stop and listen. What is Spirit trying to say to you? What are your ancestors trying to say to you right now? Okay? Yes, it's fun to be passionate about what you want. It's fun to, you know, have that drive and that willpower to do and to move things forward at a rapid pace. But when we're doing this at a rapid pace and we're constantly pushing, and then we keep seeing the same results over and over and over again, which is no results, then hello, maybe we should stop, right? So let's really, you know, bring it down a notch in terms of pushing for things. You know, it's okay if your to-do list didn't get finished. It's okay if you didn't check off everything off your list by January 1st. It's not the end of the world. The world will continue. You will continue to thrive regardless, okay? So don't beat yourself up too much, okay? And actually, this has to do a lot with a lot of deep insecurities, and I'll get into that in a moment, because we also have the Oracle deck to confirm. So I did bring only 2 decks with me on my trip, so we will only be using the Egyptian Tarot and the Moonology cards for a couple of videos. But what we got today is the full moon in Sagittarius, telling us look at the bigger picture. We have the full moon eclipse telling us that conclusions are within reach. Now this is really funny because, as you know, the next full moon, which is January 10th, is actually going to be a full moon in eclipse in Cancer. So that's interesting. Now we also have the new moon in Scorpio telling us to work through our fears. So when I see these 3 cards, I'm seeing, first of all, a lot of emotion, because full moon and full moon, hello, emotions are very high. And then we have that Scorpio energy that's obviously, you know, very deep, intense emotions. Now what I'm also seeing is that, again, this has to do with your insecurities and your fears. And so the fear of not being successful, the fear that you failed and that you let yourself down, but really you're only letting yourself down by thinking that way. Nobody else is pointing at you saying, oh, well, you didn't accomplish what you said you were going to, so you're a bad person. No one is doing that. And you need to release it, okay? So all those squares and trines to Chiron, you gotta go back and release that stuff. So look at your chart, you know, book a reading with me, whatever it is, and let's look at your Chiron to see where are your wounds being triggered right now through these transit, because Chiron's doing a lot of intensity right now. There's a lot of stuff happening with Chiron, so it's time for a lot of us to do a lot of just grounding work and meditational work to really sit back and, you know, surrender back to spirit. And I know that sounds so corny, you guys. Trust me, I know. I hate even using that term, surrender to the divine or whatever the F else. But it's true, because right now, our energy is so rigid and we're so aggressive with ourselves. We're so aggressive with ourselves that we can't even see the bigger picture. We don't see it at all. All we're seeing is what we want. And we're trying to get to it, which again is beautiful, because yes, you need that drive, you need that passion, but at what cost? At what cost are you asking for the success? And is it really coming up now that you're forcing it to happen in this quick time frame? Is it really going to manifest the way you envisioned it in your head? Is it going to manifest in the way that spirit wanted it to for you? Or is it going to manifest in this quick, short-term, you know, little spark that's going to just phase out relatively quickly, because that's how quickly it manifested for you, because you couldn't wait? If spirit is telling you right now, no, it's okay. It's not no forever. It's just no, not right now, because I have something better planned for you. And you have to trust that, okay? The insecurities that you have right now about, you know, not being successful or not being the right fit for people in your lives right now, let all that shit go, okay? The conclusions that you're looking for, they are coming. And again, this is all very temporary, okay? The wheel of fortune's always spinning. The wheel is always spinning. But if you continue with the cycle, it's going to continue to repeat itself. Now, eclipse season brings on a lot of karmic patterns back into our lives and tests us a lot. And it's already starting. It's been starting since the mirror portal has closed on 12/21. So, you know, what are you doing with that? You know, look at the bigger picture. Really take a step back for a moment and think about, you know, why did I start this in the first place? Why, like, what was my intention behind all this? And go from there. Because when you do that, you're then going to realize, oh, wait a second, this is not what I wanted at all. Oh, hang on a moment, this is not what I wanted at all. And then you're going to realize how ridiculous you're being, and you're going to drop the sword and take a step back, because self-destruction and self-sabotage is not the answer. It's really not, okay? And in terms of the conclusions being in reach, again, those conclusions might not even be, you know, pretty. I'm seeing this card to go with this card together, because what I'm seeing is that if you just keep up with this nonsense, you're gonna get what you deserve. You're gonna get what you keep asking for, which is not going to be satisfying. So if you're looking for satisfaction, you're looking for real success that's, you know, forever flowing and abundantly connected always, you need to take a step back and allow things to just be, because all this rigid energy is not going to help us this week. It's actually going to make things worse. So stop pushing so much. You can't tell people, you can't make people say yes to you. You can't make situations work for you in your favor all the time. Yes, we have witchcraft for that, I understand that. But when spirit is giving you constant signs that it's not the time, it's not the time. And if you keep pushing, the universe will push back. And when it pushes you back, you're gonna fall on your ass, and you're gonna be hurt, and you're gonna sit there and go, where, why is this happening to me? Versus asking yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Okay, so that is that is what I'm seeing for this week, you guys. There's a lot of intensity going on, and you know, if you can take a moment to be by yourself and, you know, connect back to source in some way, please do that, and really look back at your plans that you started and kind of like readjust them in a way that fits that fits you the best and will benefit you the most. Because right now you're doing too much pushing and you're not getting anywhere, and if you are getting anywhere right now, it's not going to be a pretty picture. And you probably already knew that, and you're like, it's fine, I'll do the consequences. Will you though? Will you deal with the consequences? Will you be able to handle the consequences when they come through? Probably not. So take a step back. You know, it is the holiday season, so whether you celebrate or not, take some time for you. Go and connect to source. We're now celebrating the comeback of the sun again, okay? We just had the longest night of the year, so the seasons are changing. It's time for a new way of thinking. And sometimes we'll be tested like this so that we can remember, you know, why we started. But if we continue to fail these tests by, you know, pushing back, then we're going to get what we deserve. And eclipse season is coming up, you guys, or, you know, it's here right now. So be very careful of what you're pushing back on, because it's going to manifest into the next year, and it's going to set the pace of the next year. So create some good karma into your life right now. Give back in some way if you can, because that is going to help you, okay? So I know that was really quick, you guys. I don't really have a whole lot to say for this week, honestly. It's a really like intense week with energy. I will go into more details though about the aspects in my next video, of course, about the solar eclipse in Capricorn. But for the week, not just for this Capricorn energy, but just for the entire week, this is what I'm seeing for you guys. So please take a step back and really just breathe out, okay? Breathe out. In fact, let's do a quick meditation right now, because Spirit just said I should do that. So everyone, lower your eyes, gaze, or close your eyes, and just relax your shoulders, roll them up, back, and down. And you can do that a couple times if you'd like. Maybe do the opposite way as well, if that helps. And sitting up nice and tall and straight with your spine, relaxing your jaw, maybe a smile on your face. Inhale deeply through the nose for 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale again. And exhale loudly through the mouth, releasing all the fear that you have stuck in your throat chakra. Release all of that now. Inhale love one more time. And exhale all of the fear through the mouth. Release the jaw, release the shoulders, and open your eyes slowly. Okay, so do something like that to keep yourselves grounded, and remember why you started your journey, and don't force, do not push, only flowing, no forcing, okay? I send you guys all the love and light I can. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this video resonated with you, please go ahead and comment, like, or subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, tag your coven, your loved ones, so that they can also receive this message. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.